Well, hello, friends. How are you? It's Joni here at Joni's Journals. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee before I cough. There we go. I think I'm ready now. Maybe. We are back with our fabulous 5-tab file folder journal. Now, I wasn't really sure if I was going to do a part 2 the way I'm going to do it, but I did get a lot of views on what I'm calling part 1, which is when we constructed our fabulous 5-tab file folder journal. Now, this is the one that I did without you. This was one of my prototypes, which I have begun to decorate using some of the photos and the Tim Holtz paper dolls and a lot of Tim Holtz ephemera. And I'll just give you a quick glance at it. These pictures, I tried something new when I was preparing them to use them in the journals, because they are still a little bit shiny, but they're not as shiny as they normally are when you take them from the package. And I kind of played with the idea of doing one on camera. And depending on how well this video is received, because on the other video, part 1, I actually astoundingly got almost 150 views on it. And I was really pleasantly surprised that it did get that many views. And so thank you for all of you who watched it and commented and liked it. You could also share it if you want to. That would be nice. Excuse me. But I'll see how it goes. If you guys would like me to show you how to do it, by all means, I will definitely do it for you. I have shown before how I color some of my Tim Holtz children using the, not his children, his paper dolls, using the distress crayons. But this one, these photos, I prepared a little differently. I put on the Distress Collage medium like I usually do, and I was having a little bit of difficulty with the application of it. It was not coming out as smooth as I wanted it to, and I don't know if it was because the collage medium might be a little bit old or it had gotten a little thick. Maybe I didn't shake it up enough. I don't know. But in order to remedy the sort of smears and smudges that I was getting on it, I took my sanding disc after it was dry, and I went over and I sanded the photos down and got rid of some of the lumps and bumps in it. And I know you can't feel it, but the texture now that they have is almost kind of rough and a little dusty almost. And of course, I used my sander to distress all of the edges. And I went back in with my distress crayon in Vintage Photo, and I kind of rubbed it around. And I really like the effect that it got. And maybe if I pull it up a little bit further, you can maybe see that I've added the Vintage Photo here and a little bit on the boy's suits and down here in the corner. But yeah, if you would like me to do that for you on video, let me know. I will, of course, prepare the photo beforehand with the collage medium and let it sit and dry. So yeah, if you're favoring the fact that I do it on camera, it might be in a day or two. But what I did was I added the photos on the cover with just a few little pieces of ephemera tucked in on the edges. And then of course I had a little blank spot, and so I stuck in a flower. And I did the same thing with this one. I added a little bit of ephemera around it. And then this photo here, I prepared using a technique that I saw Susie at Shabby Soul do, and it's using a tea bag. So the photo looks a little muted, but if you could feel it, the texture is wonderful. I can also do that on camera. I have plenty of tea bags tucked aside. And I haven't quite finished this page. This is one of the Tim Holtz file folders. Now, if you know anything about them, you know that these file cards are not designed to fit into the little file folder. I'm just going to tuck that back in over there. So what I do is I trim mine to fit, and then I round the corners. So yeah, that's a work in progress. And here's another one with one of the paper dolls that I used. Lindy on Pink Whisper Designs did this recently on a mixed media tag, which is something I also want to do with you guys. She just uses her distress crayons and colors over the paper dolls, and it instantly takes the shine away. So I did that. And then on these two, the paper dolls, I did the same effect. But for these backgrounds, what I began doing was I gathered my little items together from Tim Holtz, and I pre-made my clusters, and I stuck them down behind my paper dolls in lieu of the way that I always do it, which is I make the cluster on the paper as I'm going along. In these cases, I prepared the cluster first. And you know what? I really like it better that way. Of course, you have to go back if you're going to do it that way. You have to go back and keep checking to make sure that your cluster is going to fit on the page you're using it on. You can see my butterfly here is missing part of its wing because I wasn't paying attention to the size parameters that I had to work with. So yeah, we will see, because we're going to look at and finish adding papers to the one that we prepared together. And I did the same thing here. I like these photos, these big photos. I don't want to disturb them too much, so I just made a tiny little cluster in the corner here. So yeah, that's just a quick glimpse at where I'm at with this one. And also, I have prepared but have not begun to create the little journal cards that will go into our pockets. And I'll show you in this one. These cards are, and I wrote the numbers down, and I don't know where I put it. They're about 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. And I have these circles that were punched out of Tim Holtz papers that I saved. And I'm going to be using these circles as tabs for these cards. So once I've prepared a prototype, I'll come back and we'll do a couple of them together. But yeah, the 3 1/4 by 4 1/2 fits perfectly into all of our pockets. Just trying to bring this over so you have a better view. It will slide right in, okay? And it also will peek out of the pocket just a bit. And when we put our little circle tab on there, you'll see that it will be relatively easy to get it out of our pockets. Now, in this one, I've tucked, because I don't know if I want to use it yet, a little file folder that I created using Tim Holtz papers and my my tab punch. I've had these for years. Tracy Fox had actually done a video where she was making some of these little file folders without using a die. So that's what that is. But you can see these cards fit perfectly into all 3 of the pockets that we have inside our journal. So yeah, 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. And you will be set to go. Now, if you cut out your, let me just tuck this back in here so I don't lose it. If you cut out your file folders the way that I did, you are going to have excess left over even after you use your smaller pieces to create your pockets. So yeah, you'll be set like that with this, set like this with that, I should say. All right, let's put this aside for now. I did also want to add on that this is some of my ephemera. If you cut your file folders and retained your little tabs that you cut off, I'm also preparing to use, I've taken two of them and I've wrapped them around. You can see I have this little piece here, this little tail that's sticking out. I am also prepared to use these as a little tab on one of our journal cards. So yeah, if you have not seen part 1 yet, go over and take a look. These are the edges that I had left over on my file folders when I began cutting them. So you can see I have a lot of tabs, quote unquote. This is a little big, but it could be folded in half like so to make a tab, and you just match up your edges. And if you have those pieces left over, this is also an idea you can play with. And I might do, when we prepare the journal cards for the journal, I might also be using these as tabs for our little journal cards. How many times did I say journal cards in that one? Okay, let's get to the one that we made together the other day. Now, because sitting here and watching me glue paper after paper after paper would be inherently boring, and because I'm not capable at this point of editing my videos, I really have to sit down and try to do it. I did prepare some of the pages in our journal, okay? I did leave the one that is our pocket. Now, if you remember, I had a little debate with you as to how I wanted to do this pocket, because I had punched the thumb hole tab in, I think, yep, it's this one. I had put the thumb hole tab in and then added my paper after and put the thumb hole tab in. And then I opted to remain with the way that I did it for this one, which was to do the straight edge. I really, truly like that better. So what I've left here is just our pockets for us to glue in together. And then I have also picked out a couple of little things for us to decorate 2 of our pages and possibly also the cover. Now, to save you the agony, I have already gone and I have inked the edges on all of my papers. So once we have them glued in, once we want to use them to glue them in, we will be all set to do a little decorating. So yeah, so I pulled out a couple of photos. I have the one book, I don't know if you noticed, that basically most of the photos and the paper dolls are children. And so what I felt I would do with this one is sort of make this like a little adult couples journal. And so I pulled out some photos of just, couples together. And that is what is going to be going into this journal. I just thought that would be fun. And I have a couple of pieces of ephemera pulled out from Tracy Fox. And that would be her, oh gosh, I forgot to check the name. I think I added it in the description of the other journal in the area where you hit more. And it brings down the information on the kits and whatever I may have used. I think I added it, but they're called, I believe, oh gosh, Patchwork Hearts, I think. And it's a kit. I will look for it and I will link it in this one. And it's the most beautiful hearts that are just in different sizes. And I don't remember if she put it out on Valentine's Day or at that time of year. I have a feeling, I think it was for Valentine's Day, but I'm not really sure. And so yeah, there's a couple of pieces that I've prepared. Let me see if I can just grab them. I've picked out some paper dolls already. I haven't done anything to them yet, but these are some of the hearts that are in that kit, and they're beautiful. And so I thought we would play with adding them, but I don't have these dolls prepared yet. And so, yeah, that'll probably be at a later date. Okay. If I get a good response to a part 2 decorating, then by all means, I will definitely do a part 3. Okay, so here are all of the pages that I've glued in, the decorative papers that I've glued in. Now, I was supposed to tell you guys what the measurements were for these decorative papers, and I'm just grabbing the file folder, the little envelope where I have tucked in all of the extras for this, and I'm looking for the piece of paper where I wrote it down. I know I wrote it down, and good gosh, where the heck did I put it? These little envelopes are great. They are like a vinyl, so they don't really tear, and I can't find it. Oh, that's because I took it out of the envelope. All right, let's see. It's right here. Okay. And here is the name of the lady again who inspired this, Des Louver Hilda. It's a tab journal, and I saw it on the Facebook group, which I know I linked in video 1, Junk Journal Fix with Sunflowers and Doors. Okay, the decorative papers. In order to correctly decorate all of your pages that you now have in your journal, you will need 7 pieces for these pages that are 3 3/4 inches by 5 3/4 inches. And they will fit right on your page, because remember, these were 4 by 6, with leaving a little bit of a border. Now, for the 2 smaller pockets, which we just glued in, let me just grab those pages. These 2 are 3 1/4 by 5 3/4. So that, again, these were 3 1/2 by 6, remember? And then we have for this pocket, which was the debate pocket, because we didn't know how we wanted to do it. If you want to do it the same way, you need 1 piece that's 3 1/2 by 5 3/4. Okay, so now I didn't neglect to give you all of that information, and I'm going to put it back into my little pocket here with all the other pieces that are left over from this, and put that aside, so now I know where it is. Okay, so what I have done is I have prepared ephemera to put down on these 2 pages. And we are going to do basically mirror images of what is on each page. So, like I said, I've been taking my ephemera and I've been preparing little clusters before I even begin to start doing my page. I take it and I say, okay, well, that's the area where I want to put it. And I grab out little pieces, parts, and I glue them together just so that I know that they will fit in the area where I want them to go. So you can see I have made them not the same, but extremely similar. This piece is actually a piece of Tim Holtz ephemera that I cut in half. It was a little train ticket or boat ticket or whatever. So I have the same thing for this corner and something quite similar for that corner. And I also have, I found some die cuts that I had laying around. These are die cut leaves. Couldn't tell you the name of the kit. I will link it in the description box below. These are from something I was preparing, probably a mixed media project last year, I think. And so I have 1 leaf for each page. And then I have a butterfly for each page because I want them to be quite similar. And now I'm going to show you the little fun things that I've done. Because I want this to be a couples journal, I have picked out 2 photos of 2 different couples, and I have covered them with tea bags. Okay, and you can see, if you, well, I hope you can see that in here there's still little lumps and bumps from the tea that stayed stuck to my tea bag. And what I also did was I kept the little string that you pull your tea out of your cup with, And I just thought that that would be a fun little piece of ephemera to keep on the picture with the tea bag. And I have this string. And so we are going to glue down these little pieces here. Okay, our little strings, we will glue them down along with our photos onto our page. We're going to start with our corner pieces first, though. And these little labels here have cute sayings. One is love in every cup, sweet temptations. And I have the same thing on this one. And so I thought it would be kind of cute to add our little tea bag. I even glued down the heavy part of the tea bag, you know, where it's all stapled together. So we'll have some fun adding that. But first things first, I do want to add our little clusters in each of the corners on each page. And so I'm just going to turn it over. You can see here that there's a lot of little things that have been glued together. And what I also do, once I prepare these clusters and I glue them down, I keep the glue towards the center of the cluster. Okay, you can see that I just put glue in this area here, because in the event that I decide that I want to tuck something else in to this cluster, say I put it down and I go, you know what, it looks a little empty, I have room around here where I can tuck in off the edges. So just a little tip for you, okay, in case you want to do the same thing. So like on this one, I have this one big piece, and I'm probably just going to put glue in the center of this one. All right, so I'm just going to put my glue down and go like that. And I'm going to add this piece over on this corner here, like so. You know, keeping it a little bit away from the edge, because if you have watched me for a while, you know that I like a little frame around whatever I am gluing down. Now, my butterflies are going to go on last because I want them to go over each photo. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to try and grab a hold of my little tea bag photo here, and I am going to lay them out and make sure that I can have them even on each side, like so. And I think that's where I like them both, okay? So I'm going to glue my photos down, and same thing with this. I am going to leave a border around each photo so that in the event I want to tuck something in at a later time, I can do that. Okay, so I'm going to lay my photo down like so, and I think it's relatively even with their next door neighbors over here. And let's put some glue on the back of this one, and we'll glue this one down as well. So yeah, I just figured I'd pick out some cute little things and get ready a page or so for us to do together, because I said we would decorate our journal a little bit together. And I think those are about even. Let me see. Yep. Okay. So we have those glued down. Now I want to glue down my little tea bag tabs. And so I think I will just put that down like that. Now I'm toying with the idea of leaving the string loose, or maybe tucking it in a little bit behind the tea bag. I think I might do that. So I'm going to put some glue down on, oh, actually, does this one say the same thing as this one? I want to make sure that I get the different, yes. Okay, I'm going to glue my string sort of to the back of my tea bag a little bit, and I'm going to put glue around the back of the little tab here where you pull your tea bag out of your cup, and I'm going to add that up here in the corner like so. And I'm going to hold it down just to make sure it's glued. And I'm going to pull that string up just so it's not in his face. And I'm going to hold that down. And it's a little bit lumpy and bumpy underneath so that it's not gluing down flat right away. And let's see. I'll just hold this down. Oh, there we go. I wish I had something heavy. I watch a lot of card making videos, and a lot of the ladies that I watch have these like heavy what are they called? Like the lucite stamping blocks. Okay, so we have Sweet Temptations on this side. And I'm going to put Love in Every Cup on this side. And I think I'll add that right there. And I think this time I'm going to put a little bit more glue at the top of my little tea bag tab here. And put a little there and catch that string. So that maybe I can catch it and it'll glue down a little bit better. I want to grab that string there. And whoop. I think we'll be okay like that. So yeah, I added a little bit more glue to the top. And I got a little off the edge here. Well, I'm kind of on his head, aren't I? Let's move that up a bit. Okay. There we go. All right, and we'll give that a hold down. And then I have these butterflies, one for this side and one for this side that I've picked out to glue down. Okay. All right, I think our tea bag tops, this one's giving me a little bit of a problem here. I think I'm just going to reach under there and add a dab of glue more on there. All right, I think that should be okay. All right, let's glue down our butterflies. I can always add more glue after I finish my video. And I'm just gonna put my butterfly down like so. And again, I only put glue in the center. And this way, if I want to tuck anything underneath, I can do so. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And then we have our little feather to add. Okay. We'll add our little butterfly here. Our butterflies are 2 different sizes, so there's really no judging getting them in exactly the same space, but I think we've got them close enough. So there's our butterflies. And now I have a leaf for each page that we can put down on each side, like so. I have to remind myself to link this kit. I forgot what it's called. I know it's like it's leaves and this feather that I have here. Well, at least I'm calling it a feather. That's what it looks like to me. And so I'm just going to glue that piece down like so. Okay. And I think that's good. We'll hold that down just a minute. Okay. And then we'll put our other little leaf feather on the other side. Yeah, I forgot what the project was that I used these for. Can't remember. It was probably a card. I do make a lot of cards. I don't do it on camera. Although I can't say I never have. I have done some Christmas cards with you guys on camera. And so there we have it. There we have our little side-by-side duplicate pages. And this is the items that I've prepared for the front cover. And I will just show you, because I feel like this video is getting a little long, that in this case, I didn't glue anything down or make any clusters because I just sort of wanted little things kind of tucking out behind the photo, like so. And then I have this little piece down here for the corner. Okay. And again, this is one of those photos that I added the Distress Collage medium and then sanded over and added in just a little bit of the Vintage Photo Distress Crayon on here. And so, yeah, so that's going to go down and it will look something like that. I think that actually I wanted to move this piece up just a bit so that they weren't interfering with each other and they kind of just made a statement on their own. So there we go. Our front cover will look something like that. And I will do that off camera because I don't want to bore you guys and we're already at a half an hour. So I hope you enjoyed that. I will try to find out what these cards are, this Tim Holtz cards, and I will also prepare some ephemera. The rest of these, I'll prepare these paper dolls and such, so that maybe if I get a good response on this video, we can come back and we can finish decorating, or mostly decorate this journal together. I'm definitely going to come back because we are going to make some journal cards together. So maybe we'll do some journal cards and prepare some ephemera, and I'll call it part 3. Okay, guys? Thanks for watching. I'm going to send you lots of love and big hugs and ask you please to remember to like, subscribe, and comment. And I will see you in the next video where we do, I think we're going to do some ephemera for this and prepare those journal cards. Okay, guys? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye for now. Love, hugs, like, subscribe, comment. Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you.